Welcome to Dreamteller, the Global Dream Journal podcast. The following dream story is a semi-lucid time travel encounter shared by dreamer A Dead Man Walking, a man in his early 20s from Europe. For all updates, dream-related posts, and to kindly support the show, check out Dreamteller on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Stream and download the show on Podbean and other streaming platforms. Now, let's step into the dream world. The first thing I remember from the start of the dream is being a young working man in probably the late 70s, early 80s in my birth country. I, or he, had a rich male friend I grew up with and was riding an old bike back from work. I entered a small street in the village I lived in, and my friend was waiting for me by an old rusty fence that looked like it was falling apart. Apparently this friend had some romantic interest in me, but due to that country being, even to this day, homophobic, I rejected his advances and he became angry. I got back on my bike and started riding through the village my actual self grew up in. But everything was really retro, and there were shops that I know haven't been open since before I would ever be old enough to remember anything. I kept riding until I reached a part where nowadays there are more shops, but back then it just kind of faded into a quiet foresty area. For some reason it made me sad that it all got replaced with buildings in the future, and I became so emotional I started crying. I went down a hill to sit at a bar by the beach. This time I was randomly myself, but as I was in middle school. I was seated outside and ordered a few drinks. I think a soda, a chocolate milkshake, and a shot of vodka. No idea why. And at this point, I was becoming aware that this wasn't reality, but it hadn't fully hit me that it was a dream either. I realised that the time period seemed off from the last setting I was in and asked a random guy nearby what the date is. He told me the day and month, and I asked him to tell me the year too, making some excuse about having really bad memory and needing to be reminded. It was 2004. Still, in 2004, I was way too young to be in middle school, so I don't know why I appeared this way. I went to hang out with two girls my age, deciding not to question it, and passed out. Next thing I know, I was on my old computer chatting with a friend I've only known in real life for less than a year. I opened up to him about what was going on, and it went something like, "Listen, it's going to sound crazy, but you gotta believe me. I know it's 2004 and I know that's not right. We met in 2019 and I shouldn't be this age right now." He told me to wait a moment, and next thing I know, I was holding an old phone I had back in the day. The phone said it was 2010, but the computer still said 2004. I panicked looking between them until suddenly both said 2010. I thought that while whatever my friend did somewhat helped, I was still 9 years away from the timeline I belonged in. I got up and went to a different bar, this time accepting that whatever I was experiencing was a dream and I was going to wake up soon. I wanted to sit outside, spotted an empty table and asked if I could sit there, but as I looked back, a woman was sitting there. I was annoyed for a bit, but since it wasn't real, I just kind of shrugged it off. I sat inside, had a few drinks while some guys at the table next to me tried to bother me. I ignored them until I woke up. The dreamer adds that they often have long, detailed dreams but has never had this kind of time travel dream before, and it usually doesn't take so long for them to realise it's a dream. Also, usually, they become aware it's a dream and start lucid dreaming, so they have control over most things, but this time, in this dream, they were just kind of experiencing it. Thank you, A Dead Man Walking, for sharing your dream. Key themes to analyse this can be broken down into 4 sections. These are actors, scenario, symbolism, and actions. The dreamer remembers a friend from their past, and in doing so also sets the dream scenario in the past. The dream is set in a time period where homosexuality is less accepted by society, giving context to their interaction and conceptualizing possible unrequited or unfulfilled feelings for one another during their friendship. The dreamer seeks to separate from this emotion by drinking alcohol and placing themselves back into a more present day, where hopefully they can understand this encounter but instead become harassed by society once more. Thank you, dreamers, for listening. Share your thoughts, interpretations, and subscribe to Dreamteller. Like and support the show for ad-free and other exclusive content. As always, keep dreaming, and together we can awake the subconscious.